Hello and welcome to Current News. My name is Neel. In this special segment, we will discuss news which is important from the perspective of your exam. The bulletin of the last whole week, which might echo in your question paper in the examination hall. Let's begin with the headlines. Petition filed in Supreme Court to stop Gyanvapi Masjid survey. Places of Worship Act 1991 cited. The act provides for maintaining the sanctity of places of worship. Petition filed in the Supreme Court against Delhi High Court's verdict on marital rape. Petition challenges constitutionality of exception 2 of section 375 of the IPC. Supreme Court has already given a major verdict in this regard. Wholesale price inflation report for April 2022 released. Wholesale inflation is at a high level. RBI may change its monetary rates in the upcoming meeting. Report revealing facts on pollution and health in India released. 16 lakh deaths claimed in 2019. Report holds air pollution responsible for these deaths. And a new claim has been made about the earliest use of iron in India. Iron was first used in India about 4200 years ago and not 2000 years ago. Archaeological discovery in Tamil Nadu confirms this claim. The Places of Worship Act is again in headlines due to Kashi Vishwanath Temple-Gyanvapi Masjid controversy. In fact, an order of the Civil Court of Varanasi was challenged in the Supreme Court under this 1991 Act. It must be mentioned that Civil Court in its judgment had ordered a videography survey in the Kashi Vishwanath Temple-Gyanvapi Masjid complex. The management committee, that is Anjuman Intizamiya Masjid, on behalf of Gyanvapi Masjid, filed a petition in the Supreme Court challenging the civil court's order. In this petition, an appeal was made to stop videography survey inside this complex. The management committee has argued that the videography survey of this complex violates the provisions of the Places of Worship Special Provisions Act 1991. It has also cited Section 4 of this Act, which prohibits any suit or legal proceeding with respect to the conversion of the religious character of any place of worship. It is to be noted that Places of Worship Act was passed in 1991, a year before the demolition of Babri Masjid. This act declares that the religious character of a place of worship shall continue to be same as it existed on August 15, 1947. Also, a place of worship of any religion existing before August 15, 1947 cannot be converted into a place of worship of any other religion. Section 3 of the Act bars the conversion in full or part of a place of worship of any religious denomination into a place of worship of a different religious denomination. According to Section 4, Clause 1 of the Act, the religious character of a place of worship shall continue as it existed on 15th August 1947. As per Section 4, Clause 2, any suit or legal proceeding with respect to the conversion of the religious character of any place of worship existing on August 15, 1947 pending before any court shall abate, and no fresh suit or legal proceedings shall be instituted. However, if the character of a place of worship has changed after 15th August 1947, then legal action can be initiated in that case. Moreover, the Act shall not apply to Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid case and to any suit, appeal or proceeding relating to it. Recently, a petition has been filed in the Supreme Court against the split verdict of the Delhi High Court on criminalization of marital rape. This petition challenges the constitutionality of exception 2 of section 375 of Indian Penal Code. The petitioners argued that this exception discriminated against married women who are sexually abused by their husbands. They further argued that this exception also violates the fundamental rights of married women. Therefore, it should be struck down. As a matter of fact, exception 2 of section 375 states that sexual intercourse by a man with his wife, the wife not being under 18 years of age, is not rape. It must be mentioned that exception 2 of section 375 provisioned for the wife to be not less than 15 years of age before October 2017, but it was changed to 18 years through the Supreme Court's verdict. Altogether, exception 2 of section 375 excludes marital rape from the category of offence or does not consider marital rape as an offence. It is worth mentioning that Delhi High Court, while hearing petitions challenging the exception of marital rape, delivered a split verdict a few days ago. In this verdict, Justice Rajiv Shakdhar struck down exception 2 of section 375 of the IPC as unconstitutional. However, Justice C. Harishankar upheld Exception 2 of Section 375 as valid. Hence, a petition was filed in the Supreme Court for appealing against this split verdict of the dual-judge bench. Section 375 of the IPC defines the acts that constitute rape. The provision, however, lays down two exceptions as well. Apart from decriminalizing marital rape, it mentions that medical procedures or interventions shall not constitute rape. It is to be noted that sexual intercourse between marital partners without their explicit consent is considered marital rape. According to Amnesty International data, 77 out of 185 countries criminalize marital rape through legislation. India is one of those countries where marital rape is neither considered a crime nor does a legal provision exist defining the same. However, Indian Penal Code defines rape, but it does not define marital rape. Recently, the Union Cabinet has approved amendments to the National Policy on Biofuels 2018. Several factors are responsible for these amendments. These factors include advancements in the field of biofuels, important decisions taken in the meetings of National Biofuel Coordination Committee to increase the production of biofuels, and the recommendations and decisions made for introducing ethanol blended petrol with 20% ethanol content across India from April 2023. The National Policy on Biofuels 2018 was introduced by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas in place of the National Policy on Biofuels 2009. Various amendments have been made in the National Policy on Biofuels 2018 for increasing the production of biofuels in India. More feedstocks have been approved for the production of biofuels, and it is targeted to achieve blending 20% ethanol in petrol in 2025-26 instead of 2030. Moreover, Make in India program emphasis has been laid on producing biofuels through the units established in special economic zones. Besides, approval has also been given for inducting new members in the National Biofuel Coordination Committee and allowing the export of biofuels in specific cases. These amendments will foster the development of indigenous technologies as well as pave the way for Make in India drive. In addition, new jobs will also be created in the field of biofuels within India. Besides, the import of petroleum products will also reduce due to the production of more and more biofuels in the country. Recently, SCO RATS, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization's regional anti-terrorist structure meeting, was hosted by India in New Delhi. Counter-terrorism experts from India, Pakistan and other member countries of the SCO participated in this meeting. Discussions were held on enhancing mutual cooperation for countering various regional security challenges. Afghanistan's current situation was focused upon in the meeting. Deliberations were made on various strategies and mutual cooperation to deal with threats from terrorist groups operating in Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. In addition, the meeting also emphasized on increasing regional security cooperation for peace and development in the region. It is to be noted that India does not recognize the Taliban rule in Afghanistan and is committed to the formation of an inclusive government in Kabul. The SCO RATS is a permanent body of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and it is headquartered in Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan. Agreement for establishing RATS was signed during the SCO meeting held in St. Petersburg in 2002. It aims at facilitating coordination and dialogue among the SCO member states in the fight against terrorism, extremism and separatism. RATS also provides mechanism to ensure the security of SCO member states from international crimes related to terrorism. India had assumed the chairmanship of SCO RATS Council on 28 October 2021 for 1 year. Recently, the Centre published the WPI report for April 2022. According to this report, the wholesale price inflation rate in April remained at a consistently high level of 15.1%. Notably, the wholesale price inflation in April 2021 was around 10%. The old data reflects that the wholesale price inflation rate has remained in double digits for the past 13 months. Besides, the National Statistical Office also reported retail inflation at a high level of 7.79% in April 2022. According to the report, rising inflation is a result of extremely hot summer. The report mentions that the supply of perishable commodities like fruits, vegetables and milk, etc. is less in the market due to heat. The prices of these commodities have increased, which directly affects the primary food inflation. Core WPI inflation was about 11% in April 2022, which was at a 4-month high. Core inflation refers to changes in the prices of commodities other than food and energy. Some economic analysts are of view that RBI can increase its repo rate in wake of prevalent circumstances. It must be mentioned that RBI recently increased the repo rate to 4.40%, while it increased the CRR to 4.50% in an unscheduled meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee. RBI has been assigned the responsibility of controlling inflation through repo rate and CRR rate, etc. WPI and CPI are methods of measuring inflation. Under WPI, that is Wholesale Price Index, the change in prices of wholesale goods is displayed in the form of an index, while under CPI, that is Consumer Price Index, the change in retail prices of goods and services is displayed in the form of an index. In addition, CPI includes both goods and services, while WPI includes only goods. The WPI data is published by the Office of Economic Advisor under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, while the CPI data is published by National Statistical Office under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. India, the second largest producer of wheat in the world, has recently banned all types of wheat exports. All varieties of wheat, including high-protein durum and normal soft bread, have been moved from free category of export to restricted category due to the ban. However, wheat can be exported only in two cases from 13th May 2022 onwards. First, in cases where the governments of other countries had requested India to meet their country's food security needs and their request is approved by the Government of India. Secondly, in cases where wheat exports are in transition phase with different countries, that is, agreements have already been signed for exporting wheat and irrevocable letters of credit have been issued. India has so far signed export agreements of about 4.5 million tons of wheat for the current financial year. Out of this, about 1.5 million tons of wheat has been exported in April 2022. ILOC, that is Irrevocable Letter of Credit, is a type of financial instrument in which the buyer's bank guarantees payment for the goods or services being purchased by him. ILOC guarantees to the seller that he will receive a specified amount in return for the goods sold by him at a specified time. ILOC is most commonly used to facilitate international trade, and it cannot be cancelled during a stipulated time period. Interestingly, the central government had issued a press release related to wheat exports a day before announcing the exports ban. It mentioned sending trade delegations to countries like Morocco, Tunisia, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Turkey, Algeria, and Lebanon for increasing wheat exports. Besides, the Union Food Secretary had also stated recently that India is not planning to ban wheat exports. However, analysts believe that it has been decided to ban wheat exports because of low wheat production due to unusually warm weather during March-April 2022. Moreover, the central government has decided to ban wheat exports due to lower wheat procurement in the current Rabi marketing season and high levels of retail food inflation. A review meeting of IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, was held recently. In this meeting, the IMF decided to increase the weighting of the Chinese currency Yuan included in the SDR basket. The proposed change will be implemented from 1st August 2022. The IMF raised the Yuan's weightage to 12.28% from 10.92%. Also, the weightage of the US dollar has increased. The weightage of US dollar rose to 43.38% from 41.73%. Besides, there has been a decline in the weightage of Japanese currency yen and British currency pound. According to the IMF, the ranking of the currencies weightage remains the same in the SDR basket after the review. In this ranking, the US currency ranks first, while the euro and Chinese yuan rank second and third respectively. The SDR, that is Special Drawing Rights, is an international reserve asset. It is accepted between the member countries of IMF for mutual payments without any physical transfer. SDR was created by IMF in 1969 for addressing international liquidity-related challenges. Besides, the basket system of SDR was introduced in 1974. At present, SDR basket includes 5 currencies on the basis of which SDR value is determined. These currencies are US dollar, euro, Chinese yuan, Japanese yen, and pound. SDR value was determined on the basis of 4 currencies before 2016. The Chinese currency yuan was included in the SDR currency basket in 2016. At present, this change has come amid a sharp decline in yuan's value. It is worth mentioning that IMF review meeting is held every 5 years. Therefore, the next review meeting will be held in 2027. Recently, a report on pollution and health was published in the Lancet Planetary Health Journal. Shocking figures were presented in this report for India. According to the report, about 16 lakh people died due to air pollution in India in 2019, which was about 17% of the total deaths in the same year. However, lakh people died due to air pollution in the world. India, unfortunately, had the maximum number of deaths owing to the air pollution globally. This report claims that pollution was solely responsible for about 19 lakh deaths worldwide in 2019. Out of this, about 45 lakh deaths were due to ambient air pollution. According to WHO, the pollution emitted by industries, houses, cars, and trucks, etc., is called ambient air pollution. However, the report also claims that the number of deaths from indoor air pollution and water pollution has declined, but the number of overall deaths has increased due to industrial pollution such as ambient air pollution and chemical pollution, despite the decline in the number of deaths. The report also claims the Gangetic Plains of India as worst in terms of air pollution. It includes several adjoining polluted cities, including Delhi. World Air Quality Report also declared Delhi as the most air polluted capital of the world. WHO has also tightened its health-based global air quality guidelines against the backdrop of serious situation of air pollution. Now the amount of PM 2.5 per cubic meter has been reduced from 10 micrograms to 5 micrograms. The air pollution in India is also being labeled as severe as Indian cities are failing to meet this new standard. Presently, several parts of the country are reeling under heat wave conditions. Cities especially are a lot hotter than rural areas. The temperature in two areas of Delhi was recorded close to 50 degrees Celsius on 15th May 2022. The presence of various urban heat islands in the cities is significantly responsible for the extreme temperatures. The formation of an urban heat island in a particular region is a local and temporary phenomena. It forms when certain areas of a city become extremely hot compared to the surrounding or neighboring areas, mainly due to human activities. These heat islands can lead to increased energy demand in summer, greenhouse gas emissions, health-related problems, and air pollution, etc. In fact, several factors are responsible for the formation of an urban heat island in any region. These factors include increased heat absorption due to building constructed with glass, bricks, cement, and concrete, reduction of trees and greenery in these areas, excessive use of transport and fossil fuels, etc. It must be mentioned that rural areas have relatively larger green cover in form of the plantations, farmlands, forests, and trees as compared to the urban spaces. This green cover plays a major role in regulating heat in its surroundings. Consequently, the temperature in rural areas does not exceed to an extreme degree. On the contrary, urban areas lack sufficient green cover or trees. Urban areas have buildings and roads made up of bricks, cement, and concrete, which absorb a large amount of heat. Hence, a large amount of heat is absorbed in the urban areas, but that amount of heat is not dissipated. As a result, urban areas become extremely hot and start acting as urban heat islands. A survey by IHCI, that is Indian Hypertension Control Initiative, has revealed that about 23% of 2.1 million citizens of India are suffering from uncontrolled blood pressure. According to the survey, about 21% of women and 24% of men over the age of 15 in India are suffering from high blood pressure. High blood pressure means when the systolic blood pressure level is greater than or equal to 140 mmHg, or the diastolic pressure level is greater than or equal to 90 mmHg. Besides, when a person uses medicines to reduce blood pressure, then he is also considered to be suffering from high blood pressure. According to IHCI data, Kerala has the highest number of people suffering from high blood pressure, followed by Telangana. About 32.8% of the men and 30.9% of women in Kerala are suffering from high blood pressure. A recent report by National Family Health Survey also reveals that southern states have more high blood pressure patients than the national average. Moreover, about 1/4 of Indian women and men in the age group of 40 to 49 are suffering from high blood pressure. Government of India considers high blood pressure to be a serious health problem. Therefore, the IHCI project was started by the Union Health Ministry in 2017 in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research, various state governments, and WHO India. The project aims at monitoring and treating high blood pressure. By the end of 2021, around 21 lakh patients have been identified, covering 101 districts in 19 states. Recently, an archaeological discovery has been made in Tamil Nadu. The discovery confirms that iron was used in India about 4200 years ago. Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has confirmed the discovery. He has cited the archaeological report as its basis. In fact, excavations were carried out in Mailadumparai cultural site in Tamil Nadu in the 1990s. However, carbon dating of the evidences obtained from the excavation has been completed recently. Radiocarbon dating or carbon dating is a method of determining the age of animals and plants. It was proposed by Professor Willard Libby, University of Chicago, in 1949. It must be mentioned that Mailadumparai cultural site is located near the city of Krishnagiri, Tamil Nadu. Moreover, this site is an important site with cultural material dating back between the Microlithic and early historic ages. This site was discovered by Professor Rajan. Significantly, before this, the earliest evidence of the iron use was from 1900 to 2000 BCE. However, for Tamil Nadu, it dates back to around 1500 BCE. Moreover, the earliest evidence of iron was discovered in India at Ahar, Rajasthan. Recently, IFPRI, that is International Food Policy Research Institute, has released 2022 Global Food Policy Report, Climate Change and Food Systems. According to this report, India's food production may decline by 16% by 2030 due to climate change. Moreover, the number of people experiencing starvation in India can increase by 23% due to climate change. This report suggests that 73.9 million Indians are expected to experience starvation in 2030. However, this number could increase to 90.6 million if the effects of climate change are also included. In addition, the overall food production index may also come down from 1.6 to 1.5 due to climate change. It is to be noted that food production index includes the crops which are considered edible and contain nutrients. But coffee and tea are not included in this index because they have no nutritive value despite being edible. However, the good news for India in the report is that climate change will not affect the average calorie consumption of Indians, and it is projected to be around 2600 kilocalorie per person per day in 2030 as well. In a global context, the report estimates that by 2050, the global food production will increase by about 60% from the level of 2010. According to the report, food production and its demand are projected to grow more rapidly in developing countries, especially in Africa. The report also reflects that people in low-income countries are also adding more fruits, vegetables, processed foods, and animal-sourced foods, etc. to their diets. Besides, meat production in South Asia, West Africa, and Central Africa is projected to double by 2030 and triple by 2050. However, the level of per capita consumption in developing countries will remain less than half of that of developed countries despite this increase. Furthermore, the global average dietary energy consumption is estimated to increase by about 10% to more than 3000 kilocalorie per person per day. According to the report, about 500 million people at global level could experience starvation due to regional differences in food accessibility. However, due to climate change, about 70 million more people could experience starvation globally. Let us now look at 5 questions based on today's bulletin.
Questions for this series are: first question is, consider the following statements with reference to SCO RATS. 1. It is a temporary body of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. 2. Its meeting was held in Ahmedabad, India in 2022. 3. It is headquartered in Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 and 3 only, 3 only, 2 and 3 only, or 2 only? Next question is, consider the following statements with reference to SDR. 1. Basket system of SDR pricing was introduced in 1974. 2. China's currency contributes 12.28% to the SDR pricing. 3. IMF has recently reduced the SDR weighting of Japanese currency yen and British currency pound. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1, 2 and 3, 3 only, 1 only, or 1 and 3 only? Next question is, consider the following statements. 1. Marital rape is defined under Section 375 of the IPC. 2. Exception 2 of Section 375 states that sexual intercourse by a man with his wife, the wife not being under 18 years of age, is rape. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, both 1 and 2, 2 only, or neither 1 nor 2? Next question is, consider the following statements with reference to the Places of Worship Act. 1. This act was passed in 1991. 2. The act provides partial permission for religious conversion of places of worship. 3. This law can be amended by the Parliament only after consultation with the Supreme Court. Which of the above statement or statements is or are not correct? 2 and 3 only, 3 only, 1 only, or 1 and 3? Last question is, consider the following statements. 1. The oldest evidence of iron has been identified in Tamil Nadu's Mailadumparai. 2. Mailadumparaithal was discovered by Professor Rajan. 3. The first evidence of iron in India was discovered in Ahar, Rajasthan. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 1 only, 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3?
So for the time being, that's all in this bulletin. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe Drishti Hindi, English and PCS YouTube channels. At the end, let us have a look at few more events of the last week in other news.
Prime Minister Modi was on Nepal visit recently. He stated in Lumbini that his birthplace Vadnagar in Gujarat was a great center of Buddhist learning centuries ago. Even today, ancient remains are found in Vadnagar and the Ministry of Culture is making efforts to make it a heritage site. Archaeological Survey of India has found Buddhist relics and about 20,000 artifacts in Vadnagar in 2014. Some of these relics and artifacts date back to the 2nd century. Vadnagar is mentioned in the Purans and even in the great Chinese travel Huan Sang's travelogue as a prosperous city. The Supreme Court has allowed the implementation of OBC reservation in local body elections in Madhya Pradesh. Justice A.M. Khanwilkar gave this verdict while modifying the court's order dated 10th May 2022. The court stated that the reservation should not exceed 50% inclusive of OBC, SC or ST. Reservation will be applicable on the basis of delimitation carried out in 2022. Recently, first International Migration Review Forum meeting was organized by the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Several countries and organizations, including India, also participated in this review meeting. The forum aims at reviewing the progress made at various levels and implementing global agreements for secure, organized and regular migration. The International Migration Review Forum meeting will be held every 4 years from 2022 onwards. Recently, the World Economic Forum released the Effective Energy Transition 2022 report. This report is based on energy transition trends. In this report, concerns have been expressed on the increasing demand for energy and its supply in the changing circumstances. The report also suggests actions for both the public and private sectors for ensuring an optimized energy transition. Besides, countries dependent on imports have also been asked to consider options for importing energy from several countries. Recently, 15th World Forestry Congress organized in Seoul, South Korea. Seoul Forest Declaration was adopted during this program. It was the second meeting of the World Forestry Congress in Asia. Earlier, it was organized in Indonesia in 1978. The World Forestry Congress is held every 6 years. The theme of the recent World Forestry Congress is Building a Green, Healthy and Resilient Future with Forests. Indian and French navies conducted their second joint patrol last week. It was organized on the French island La Réunion, located in the southwestern Indian Ocean. This patrol was aimed at demonstrating joint surveillance and patrolling operational capabilities. La Réunion is an island situated in the Indian Ocean and it is located to the east of Madagascar Island and the southwest of Mauritius Island. Recently, the Supreme Court reprimanded the Kerala government for violating the endosulfan insecticide judgment. The apex court had ordered 5 lakh rupees compensation to each of the victims in the endosulfan insecticide case in 2017. The Supreme Court had banned the production, sale and use of endosulfan insecticide in 2011. GMR Hyderabad International Port has won the Silver Award for the 5th time in a row in Airports Council International's Green Airports Recognition Program for its efficient carbon management process. The airport has won awards in the 15 to 50 million passengers per year category in the Asia Pacific region. The airport is compliant with green norms by using sustainable resources, eco-friendly products, energy-efficient appliances, and eco-friendly technology. Stablecoin Terra USD and its partner currency Luna recorded a steep drop in value. It has created fear in the cryptocurrency market. A stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency, usually a government-backed currency or pegged to the value of commodities such as gold or silver. Investors invest in stablecoin to avoid the risk associated with cryptocurrencies.